Morning, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. What's date today's? All right, so daily bias was sent out into the chat. I'll quickly go over it. So if we look at the daily chart, we are targeting that relative equal buy side for quite a while. I think for the past like 2 weeks, we've been trying to reach up in there. Finally got the pump up into it. Take it to the hourly chart. We'll see exactly what I mean. So that's the relative equal buy side we all wanted. Now, the only thing I don't like is the fact that we got it in the overnight session. So we had a huge from price action open on the day from Wednesday, 1800 up to current time. It's around a 400-point move. Now, normally I would say on regular volatility, anything over 200 points is quite a large move. This is almost double that. I mean, given the current volatility, it is, I guess, expected, but large overnight move. Already took out the buy side. We do have this short-term swing high. The reason I'm using this one instead of this one is because this was a weekly high. Okay, so if I go to the weekly chart and I extend out this is on a Monday, right? So extend that out, and that'll be the Monday high. Anyways, so we have more buy side pools that we can reach for. We've got basically no retracement leg since midnight open. If you want to take the most recent sell side sweep to current high, that'll give you your fib range. We do have this internal range fair value gap. I don't know if we can get all the way down into here. That'd be quite crazy if we could, to be honest. On the lower time frame, 15-minute chart, if you look at the profile so far, we've got no manipulation in Asian, nothing in London either. So my expectations for the morning would either be we get a New York Judas to reversal, or we kind of just consolidate here, maybe slow trend up or down. I don't really care which one. And then the PM session is the real move. So whenever you have a large overnight session that expands, you can either expect New York to retrace, or we'll just have a consolidation morning and then a PM session move. I don't trade the PM session, so I'm kind of stuck with this. If there's nothing that catches my eye specifically, then I'm not going to participate as usual. But the only reason I'm even looking at today, if I'd come to the morning session and it was just as choppy as it was, and we didn't have news, I would not be looking at it. We do have 8:30 news, so I guess that's the kind of one exception that we may have some decent movement in the morning. I don't know what this kind of weird expansion is here, but let me quickly mark out the daily levels that I wanted to mark out. So this swing high up here. And obviously there are some imbalances on the way up there, so we could get some short-term retracements. But that'll be the first one. Do some relative equal lows on the sell side, and then I didn't mark out the internal range gap. Let me do that as well. So we do have this inefficiency, but this is the one in discount that I'm more interested in as a potential draw on liquidity. But like I said, I don't know. That's 247 points down. 15-minute chart, we got this inefficiency here. Could refine it down if you wanted to, but I mean, there's a lot of low resistance liquidity all in here. A lot of swing lows that were not manipulated. Swing low, swing low, swing low, swing low. So, I mean, if you think about it logically, it's always good, I think, to think about it like from a retail perspective. So if you had woke up and our RTH gap is massive like this, I'm going to think we're extremely bullish after the Fed release. So I'm going to go long in here or whatever it may be. So we have a lot of sell-side liquidity building up. We had the Fed chair speaking yesterday with basically no impact on the market from the release. We were like 10 points up from midnight open yesterday. So not a whole lot of movement. I'm just watching to see. I'm going to mark out 8:30 open here. $907. Don't have any SMT currently. I mean, actually, we do have this one potentially forming here. We'll be watching this. But nothing at the highs. This was swept out already. We have 10 AM news? Do we have 10 AM news? I don't think we have 10 AM news. Oh, it's orange folder. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. So reaching back into discount of that range here for value gap trading into. We do have the short-term SMT, I believe, on the lows. So as of right now, we got that SMT. If we were to displace above this swing high, then we have a short-term breaker with SMT. I guess that would be a mitigation block technically. Trades back into, then may take that long even past this buy side. Maybe just into 10 o'clock. But let me screenshot this quickly. This would be a discount imbalance. So right now I'm just kind of watching. I'm reading the 1 minute PD range, reading the 5 minute chart, making sure everything is lining up. I mean, I said, yeah, we may have a bullish bias. I can kind of argue both sides at this point. Just because of the large overnight move. That's really the only reason. So we just dropped into the 5 minute gap as well. We didn't touch the order block. And this may be your first presentation gap. We'll be watching to see how we print. But yeah, 8:30 news we do have. What's it called? 9:30 to 10 o'clock kind of kill zone to look for. On Top Step X, it says that the U.S. existing home sales is high impact. I don't know why. Let me double check Forex Factory. Yeah, it still says medium on Forex Factory. Also look at the failure to manipulate below 8:30 open. So here's your first presentation gap. It's not this one, by the way. This is not. Reason being, if you go to regular trading hours, that's not a gap. Okay, so you cannot have a first presentation gap from the 9:30 candle. It needs to be from 9:31 onwards. So that's why this would be the first presentation gap and not this gap here formed at 9:30. So we have this gap. Oh, it's just discount of the dealing range from here to here, if you're wondering. Or you could also use this low, I guess. The true meaning, I'm not sure about first presentation gap. I've seen setups that form on it from the macro time onwards. I don't think ICT personally has released enough information regarding first presentations. I do have like a really long-winded post that one of his charter members explained it on Twitter from, and it confused me. Like I tried reading it over and over, and there's stuff in there that I think you have to wait for the books to come out or him to explain it even further. This is the long-winded post. If you want to screenshot it, you can. But I wouldn't even worry about it, to be honest. Like, don't even worry about this. Is just a gap. Just don't even worry about this. The only reason I'm marking out as first presentation is because if people came from the 2024 mentorship and want to see what it looks like, that's really the only reason. All right, we are decoupled. So Dixie is trading up and NASDAQ. ES moving lower. Short-term swing high and premium there. Low-hanging fruit objective, I would assume, is target for DXY. You look at the 15-minute chart, we just dropped into that gap, touched the order block, trading back up. Now, normally I would like this as a long. We got this mitigation breaker, whatever you want to call it. And then this fair value gap here. That normally would be a decent long, but I don't like the fact that we're decoupled. ES is trading lower. DXY is trading higher. The risk to reward on this would be not optimal. I didn't even know if ICT gave more information on when the books are supposed to come out. I know he said back in 2023 it was supposed to be when he hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube. He's pushing like 1.4 million right now. So I don't know if there's any update on that I missed. I'm not on Twitter that often anymore. All right, so look at these two. ES and Dixie are moving in tandem with each other, pumping up towards the short-term buy side. ES is selling off. I would assume that NASDAQ needs to catch up, and it's kind of playing Six Sister. So I wouldn't look at, I mean, you kind of look at that as SMT at the highs if you wanted to, like 5-minute SMT. Between there. Like I said, I don't really like using 5-minute SMT unless there's a higher time frame. Well, I didn't say this. I think I said this on a voice call yesterday. If there's higher time frame SMT. Okay, there is. So there is some higher time frame SMT here on the day on the 4-hour. So the 5-minute SMT would be fine, I guess. Yeah, ES is just selling off here. There's London low. Oh, geez. It's quite far. We do have all this low resistance over here, too. So it traded into the gap. Touched the order block here. Didn't close below it yet. But if you look, if you turn on RTH, it's just still kind of choppy in here. I don't trust really either one of these moves. I'm favoring bearish price action currently, given the fact that ES is selling off and DXY is pumping up. I would assume that NASDAQ just needs to follow through. Seems kind of odd that NASDAQ would be pumping up, especially with the higher time frame SMT, the 4-hour, the daily SMT. That's not what I wanted. There we go. So now we're getting some sell-off there. So we got a premium and imbalance up here. Just a ton of imbalances. I'm gonna leave them not marked down. I'm gonna keep this FEG on. That's it. 5-minute chart. Let's see. Still no CISD or inversion gap on 5, so we gotta wait for one of those, preferably. Watching this order block. ES still moving lower. Slight retracement on ES. Although it is kind of weird also that we like put in these double top here. So I'm gonna wait for macro time. But there's not really displacement out of the range yet. Time dynamics are not in. I can't really see anything with this. We got a 907 low, which is outside the time window, but then we did form a high in here. So there's not a whole lot of information I can gather from that. So look at the first presentation gap. We're trading all the way through the discount end and closing, about to close outside of it now. $54-ish points. Also, there's no clean market structure shift on the 1 minute if you use that. There's still this crazy, 15. Still have this SMT. I don't know if it's SMT or Six Sister. It's hard to tell. I mean, DXY is still moving up. Let's take a look at YM. I don't like normally using YM, but I mean, everything pierced their high. All over the place. So I'm weighing both sides. I'm thinking, okay, is there a reason why I could be bullish, reason why I could be bearish? There's two different things I'm trying to frame, and I'm fine with either one. So I really didn't have a strict bias going to the morning. And if it's clear one-sided, it's a little bit easier. I'm still like gun to my head. I'm favoring a little bit more bearish price action, just given the DXY's got some upside targets and efficiencies and such. And ES is moving lower. Here's macro time. Now, if you look at this 5-minute gap, there we go. 5-minute gap in here. We're now closing through that, and we have a change in state delivery if you want to use this. So if we get a retracement during macro time into short-term premium, we also do have a breaker actually in here. Not the best, but high, low, higher, high. Last down closing candle, if we have an inefficiency that forms right around here, may look at that as a shorting opportunity. Equilibrium of the daily range would be crazy. That'd be further than London. What is that? 186 points. Let's see if we can get it. We just tagged the sell side there. So this would be breaker, -2, -2.5, lines up with London low. Let's take a look. Target. Yeah, you're right. Let's see if we can get a retracement here. We got the breaker. Somewhat of an inefficiency forming in this range. But notice how, okay, we got this gap here. We got this gap here. This one only selling through it. So I would expect a retracement at least up to the premium end of this of this range. Possibly touching the breaker, possibly touching this gap in here. Maybe a better 2-minute gap. There's not really one. But look for a retracement leg back up into maybe like this here. And just because we're trending doesn't mean you can just enter short, at least in my mind. No point in FOMOing in. You'd like to see either a retracement into premium, which I don't know if we can get all the way into premium, or a breaker with a fair value gap. And this is the one that's kind of, the breaker is a little bit better on this one. So touching the internal range gap. ES still moving lower, looking good. DXY is now in premium. So this is a high quality order block. Now, there's no fair value gap next to it, but what is it doing? Filling a fair value gap. So that's really your two most important order blocks are either going to be filling a gap or creating a gap. Yo, what's up? Yeah, it's been a minute. How you doing? So we took out the sell side, relative equal sell side there. I'm looking for a retracement back up into the upper portion of this gap, touching the breaker. That's preferred. I'm not going to really like anything that's just on the bottom portion of this. Unless you want to use this 5-minute breaker leg. 15 minutes or one? Nope. So if you can trade up and touch the breaker with the gap, this little double shaded portion here, that's best case scenario. We're going to reach up into this retracement leg right now. There you go. So into the breaker, maybe into this tiny gap too. Let's see how we react now. Make sure ES and DXY are still moving lower. So ES just got a wick, large wick on here. You can pull up the ES chart. Trading back up in the range. You got this imbalance here. DXY just traded into premium. Didn't reach that low hanging fruit though. NASDAQ also larger wick. So into the 5-minute sibi as well there, and the 5-minute order block. I want to see, okay, we got the retracement leg back up to basically where I wanted it to retrace to, and the premium inefficiency with the breaker. So if you can move back down, still got one standard deviation down here, the IRL. Oh, we do have the orange folder 10 a.m. news. See if that does anything. Back to trading. Nice. Now we did wick past this short-term low, which I would have seen as an intermediate term low. 5-minute sibis holding there. Can mark this out as well. I know it's a lot of boxes, but 5-minute sibi. Traded into there. Got the 1-minute bearish order block, the breaker, the fair value gap. DXY is trading up in a premium. Slight SMT at the highs on the daily and on the 5-minute. So as long as we're continuously moving lower, like if we trade through this gap, then that'd be a good indication we want to continue. Now, London low on ES makes more sense than London low on NASDAQ, at least for me, just proximity wise. But that doesn't mean we still couldn't reach that. It'd be quite a deep retracement. Probably going to lunch, maybe PM session there. Made it up and right on London low. That's true. Where's Mop? Oh, yeah. So it looks like we may be waiting for the 10 a.m. news to come out. We're kind of just stalling within the range here. It's orange folder. But we're still holding the breaker for the most part. Technically, the breaker is all the way up into here. That's the entire range, but this is the lowest portion. Slight retracement on DXY. Same thing on ES. Trading into the wick of the order block, the SysD. Also have a 5-minute inefficiency. Sorry, 15-minute inefficiency there. Did not close on the 15-minute bisi. Yeah, we wicked the low end of it anyways. So even though the candle buys are staying within it, it's true. We did come all the way down to wick that short-term low, so there would have been a stop out if someone was trading the 15-minute chart, right? I do like the fact that we have this inefficiency here. And then this inefficiency here. So at least for the short term, that would mean, at least in my mind, DXY continues moving up into the short-term buy side. ES should be moving down and at least moving lower. And then NASDAQ as well should be following suit, moving lower into maybe further into this gap, maybe taking on any short-term sell side on the way. I don't know. We kind of have relative equal lows here. So I guess mean thresh or consequent encroachment of the hourly gap would be first target. And then if we can continue to displace through that, then you would look for negative 2 to 2.5 and then possibly time of day 10:30 to 11 o'clock. Y'all are kind of lethargic in this breaker. which I do not like. I want to see it displace quickly out of it. But I mean, if we mark up these inefficiencies and such, I want to see what we're holding, what we're not. So ES is starting to use their gaps as inversion in a short-term premium now. Go back to the 5 minute here. So we just tapped the 5 minute order block with the fair value gap there. I remove some of this stuff, you'll see. So 5 minute OB, tiny volume bounce. Now, if we were to close past 50% of this order block, I would not like that anymore as shorts. Oops. So I'm watching the candle closure relative to the 5 minute order block there. I guess the SISD, if you want to call it that. We are closing above this gap here. There's really not been a lot of aggression. There's no speed on the low end. And we are getting some bisis forming here. One forming. Got a tiny one there too. So on the if this was a retracement leg, you wouldn't see any bisis forming, or you see really, really tiny ones that would form. I don't like the fact that this is quite large. Same thing with, I mean, this one's not super large, but got an efficient, we got a volume bounce there. And this gap. And now a bullish order block forming within a breaker. Notice DXY is also trading through their fair value gap and around mean threshold D, already kind of tapping below mean threshold D at that order block that was supporting it. Yes, waking up into their inversion gap here. So it's just not as bearish as I would like to see it. It's, I mean, we're still holding it. I want to see how this candle closes. We still got 50 minutes left. Sorry, 9 minutes left on the 50-minute candle. But to me, it's just, it's not really giving any bearish indication. We're still forming bullish order blocks in this retracement leg. We got this bearish order block here. And that's really it. OB minus. But we traded through the breaker. We're trading through the upper portion here. So basically all the way through the breaker, almost all the way through, yeah, all the way through the 5-minute gap into a deep premium. Yeah, still pumping up there. Anyway, we did close below 50% here. Hourly chart, we still got this internal range gap. Not in short-term discount though. This would be the gap all the way in. So, I mean, we're starting to wick off of the IRL and the order block, but it's not really clean. Took out that short term. This order block would have been holding at least on the 5-minute chart. And back up into here. I don't know. I don't really like. It's still hard to argue shorts in this. 5-minute order flow is still bearish. You could argue with the candle closure it is. The fact that we closed all the way through this gap, all the way through this gap, and took out the short term low. I would say that's bearish. But I mean, on the higher time frame, if you look at the hourly, things like that, then maybe not. Whoops. Exactly. At this point, there's not really anything holding us back from the highs. You got the buy set up here. Another macro reversal on a 8:30 news day. So marking out. Now DXR wants to move higher. It's hard to tell. It looks very similar to Tuesday's price action. Very, very similar. If I go actually back to Tuesday, it's basically same exact kind of move. Here's Wednesday. I know it's been a little bit. For September price action, it's difficult. So here's basically same exact kind of thing. Drops down to macro time, reversal, opportunity in there. And then, we saw the stream on Tuesday. But the overnight move, this is kind of the price action you got to deal with. Now we're starting to move lower. But that just looks like a retracement leg to me. Anyways. But this is the kind of consolidation that will burn mental capital. We're right outside macro time now. Yes, buy side at this point looks like it's primed. Got this unfilled portion here. Relative equal highs. Daily buy side. It's not for me either. Yeah, probably a stream tomorrow. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, probably because we had only Tuesday stream this week. Yeah, so this price action really does not have my interest for a large overnight move day. And we're kind of back and forth. basically what we got on Tuesday. So I'm not going to burn any more mental capital with this. We do have tomorrow as an opportunity, but you got to just stay safe on a day like today. So, yeah, I'll end the stream early today. Well, I'll plan for a stream tomorrow, Lord willing. I'll start at like maybe 9:40ish since we don't have 8:30 news. Random trading view question. I've seen you close lots of markups in one go by drawing a box over all of them. Oh, I just you hold control, at least on I'm on Windows, so you just hold control down and then you just drag and you can do that, and then you can hit delete. You can also do drag middle mouse button and that'll delete them as well. Yeah, command on Mac, exactly. And then I think same thing with like if you want to do quick hotkeys, I think it's option on Mac for like you know, quick lines and things like that. Option T, option V, all that stuff. All right. So yeah, good luck rest of the day if you decide to trade. The PM session should be a little bit better. I'm not really interested in all of this. So I'm going to turn it off the screens and get on the rest of my day. So I'll post a stream recording later, and I will catch you guys, Lord willing, tomorrow morning, bright and early for the stream. Peace.